Hello and welcome to the Other Reykjavík, the show where we get to hear real voices of real experiences from real people living in the capital. There is a demonstration happening today in Austurvöllur to bring attention to the situation and horrible treatment of refugees from Afghanistan. In fact, the demonstration is happening right now as we recorded this show beforehand. So if you are in Reykjavík and you want to join it, head down to Austurvöllur right now. You can watch the show afterwards or on your way to Austurvöllur. To Ingólfstorg, sorry, it's happening in Ingólfstorg. Now with us today is one of the organizers of the event, Ehsan or Ehsan Ísaksson. Ehsan, can you tell us a little bit about the event and why we are doing this today?
Hi. So thanks for this opportunity to, the chance given to me to talk. There has been a chain of incidents that caused us to start this demonstration. Just about a month ago, Iranian guards, they forced 57 people, like Afghan refugees, to jump into a river to go, that was flowing back to Afghanistan, to go back to Afghanistan. And a lot of them died and only a few survived. And just weeks later after that, they opened fire at a car that was carrying Afghan refugees, and the car was set on fire and people were burning alive. It was a horrifying scenery. It was heartbreaking, and that was just, that triggered this this movement. And now we can see, like, all over Europe, in America, in all these states, like, my countrymen are doing this movement. So yeah, that was the cause of it. And but this has been an ongoing behavior from, like, both Iranian government and Iran in general.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you also so much for being here, because we don't get to hear the voices of refugees very much. So, so this is basically a solidarity, or is it to bring attention to the problem, or is it?
Well, we're simply asking to put an end, asking Iran to put an end to this systematic racism and violence. Yeah. It cannot be accepted anymore. It's just enough.
Yeah, and because there is an organization that is behind this, the Ariana Association in Iceland. Can you tell us a bit about that organization?
Well, I'm the head of Ariana Association. It's a people association, and it's non-profitable and voluntarily. So I started this association like 2-3 years ago when I wanted to do things legitimately and, like, formally. So I had to establish this association.
Yeah. So is there, because you come from Afghanistan originally, is there a lot of Afghani refugees in Iceland, or Afghanis living in Iceland?
We're about 300 people, I would say.
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
And
it's a good amount.
Yeah, and also just wanted to know maybe a bit about your background. How like, when did you leave Afghanistan, and, like, how the situation?
Well, my parents fled Afghanistan in Soviet Union time, a little after Soviet Union time, and I was born and raised in Iran. So, but as someone who's been raised in Iran, I never felt like an Iranian because I simply didn't belong. I never been treated like an Iranian. I was been treated like an outsider, like the lesser. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So you have never lived in Afghanistan. Only your parents have. So.
Well, when I was after some accidents that caused us to leave Iran, I moved to Norway, and I sought asylum in Norway, but my case was rejected. I was denied asylum, and I was deported back to Afghanistan. And I was being deported to a country that I knew nothing of. So, but yeah, I was there for a short time, and then I moved back towards Europe again.
Yeah. So basically, Norway deported you back to a country that you had never lived in before. That is.
It was very strange. Like, you know, because I was raised in Iran, I'm more Iranian than Afghan. I mean, I don't consider myself Iranian, but you know, the environment and the influences, you know, caused me to be more Iranian. So it's like deporting someone to a country that they don't even belong there. It's not that I'm not proud of my identity. I stand for Afghanistan, but it was just like, it was the wrong thing to do. It was foul. Yeah. And I suffered a lot, you know, just to adapt to this, you know, to the new environment, to this country that I have never been to. And and I only heard like horrible stories from there.
Yeah. So when did you decide to come to Iceland? Was that from Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Or how was your journey?
Well, this when I was deported back to Afghanistan from Norway, there were still like some of my family left in Iran, so I went back to them, and I had to go illegal. I had to enter to a country that was born in illegally, and I have to tiptoe around like some kind of a thief, like a criminal, and I faced a lot of like life threats there as well. I got to my family on my second attempt. I just wanted to, you know, to get somewhere safe. I couldn't stay in Iran anymore. I had lost my temporary visa in Iran. I could not stay there. Afghanistan was not an option. So I just wanted somewhere stable to grow, and, you know. So that's why I moved to Europe again. And it was actually 2015 with the wave of refugees. So it was rather easier than the first time. Yeah, but yeah, I went to Norway again. I was trying to, you know, find a way to go to Canada, because Europe was not, it wasn't a very good situation in Europe in 2015 because of the wave of refugees. So, and I was already, you know, my case was already in Norway, so couldn't really stay within Europe. So that's why I decided to go to Canada. I was trying to find a way to go to Canada. Then I found out about Iceland. I already could speak Norwegian, and like Icelandic language was very close to Norwegian. So I was just like, let's go there.
Yeah. And you have stayed here since.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how have you, since you came to Iceland, how has it been for you here?
It's been amazing. Like, I grew to some extent that I could never think of. Like, and I'm grateful, you know, for it, to Iceland. That's why, you know, being rejected by all the nations, all the countries that I've been to, and then when I came to Iceland, Iceland took me in. I felt like in debt to Iceland. So that's like one of the reasons. That's why I changed my name to Ísaksson, because I wanted to have an Icelandic name on me, just to show my depth to this great nation.
So and you've lived in Reykjavík also.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself beforehand. My name is Laufey Ólafsdóttir, and with me here is Daniel Örn Árnason, who works for this, who is a representative of the Socialist Party in the City Council, Reykjavík City Council. And I believe Daniel has some questions also.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for talking to us, Ehsan. I have to admit that I did not know about the treatment of Afghani asylum seekers in Iran and other places, really. And since I saw this event, I've been wondering, like, why do we not hear about this? Why is it not on the news?
Exactly.
It's so strange, and you have to wonder if the news people just don't care, you know. So thank you for raising this subject and bringing it to our awareness. I wanted to know if you know about asylum seekers who come to Iceland and are rejected. Are they sent, for example, back to Iran, maybe, or?
Iran, like refugees from Iran refuses to take in the refugees that they apply asylum in Europe. So I don't think they're being sent back to Iran. But like in Norway, they used to just keep them hanging, the Iranians, because they couldn't deport them, they wouldn't give them like residence permit, so they were just in camps, like waiting 10 years, like 11 years, like without no documents,
stuck in limbo. Wow. My question, Laufey, do you have any question? My question just flew out of my brain.
Yeah, there's I mean, we are just, because we, like I said before, we don't get to hear from refugees very often. It's a hidden group in Iceland and everywhere, I believe. And I'm kind of curious, the people who come here from Afghanistan, is it a tight-knit community? Are you in a lot of touch with each other?
Well, since I've started this association and this community, if there's we actually organize other events as well, like cultural events. If you check on our Facebook page, we are doing Nowruz event every year, which is like the Persian New Year, and it has been welcomed by many people. We had like many Icelanders from all the other countries participating in this event, and we hold it at the Reykjavík city, Reykjavík City Hall. So it's every year, like 22nd March. So we do different kind of activities. We do religious activities as well. So we just use any excuse to get us together, to get stronger and to stand together.
Yeah, we will post links to the Ariana organization and the demonstration also. But it's I mean, do Afghan refugees here, are they getting positive decisions on their refuge cases, or is a lot of them being deported?
Well, actually, Iceland has been, in my opinion, this is just my mere opinion, Iceland has been treating, has been very good with Afghan refugees, except for a few cases that have been that they undergo the Dublin rule, and they're being sent back to the first European country that they sought asylum in. So except for those, Iceland has been granting residence permit to a lot of Afghan refugees, and it's been great.
So they normally come through Greece or some.
They do. Well, maybe the other reason is that we don't have an embassy here, so they cannot really send us back, I guess. This is not an excuse, I've heard. Because I don't think there is any Arab
well, there is no embassy from the Arab countries in Iceland, as I know of.
Okay.
They are usually situated either in England or the other northern Scandinavian countries. So, so I think this is not a factor, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just always good to know when people get to stay, because
Yeah.
it enriches our community a lot to have different people. So.
And Afghan people are hardworking, they are constructive, like human beings. Like, even in Iran, they were always like, trying their hard. I dare to say that like we built up Iran's cities. I say that, with good confidence. Like, it just built our cities, and this is the way they are treating us back. So I just don't understand. And the other funny thing is that we have been one country like 100 years ago. It's not a long time ago. It's just like 100 years ago. We share a lot. We both speak Farsi, and then we do have same kind of religion. We have the same culture, and we share more than like brothers. We were basically one, and this behavior, it cannot be justified like in any way. And this racism and this kind of behavior, from Iran, and like from Iran in general, government and the people, this has been embedded within the culture, within the very soul of Iran. Like, even when you talk to the best of Iranians, the educated ones, you feel like, they're like treating you like this blister, like they look down upon you. You're like, no. So they have to, and racism is racism is just ignorance. It can be removed. They just have to study, and they just have to, remove this, like, within their behavior. They can end this. It's nothing like it's not like a disease that that there's no cure for it. They just have to study and fix this behavior.
Daniel,
I wanted to ask you in the description of this event you are having later today or now. You talk about the treatment of Afghanis in other places than only Iran. Like, for example, can you tell us something like about where we would Dublin people away to like Greece or something? How is the situation over there? Do you have any information on this?
Well, yeah, Greece, they are struggling themselves, and sending a refugee back to a country that, in a country that is in crisis is it wise? Like, what are they doing? So, well, actually, like, as I said, like, Iceland has been kind with, if you can say that, it has been kind with Afghan refugees. And even though there are like Dublins from Greece, Iceland keeps like a good percentage of those Dubliners. And yeah, well, still, for the few who are being sent back to Greece and like other countries such as Italy or Portugal, or these countries are in the struggle themselves. So then refugees are just like, they're fleeing from the struggle. So sending them back to struggle, is that even like wise?
Yeah, we agree. It doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to ask, because we're going to wrap up in a minute, and I know that you need to get away. You have a lot of things to organize. I also wanted to ask, like, is this subject being highlighted in other places in Europe, the violence against Afghanis? Or is this...
Well, it's very sad how we classified horrors and and crimes, you know, and you know, one movement get big and one movement it stays slow. But as I said, that you know, this movement has been going on like throughout Europe, in the States, in Canada, and like everywhere. But we haven't been given much attention and like publicity by the global media, and it's just sad. And
yeah,
it makes you question: how do you evaluate lives? How do you classify lives? Is one life more important than the other? I mean, I was in the Black movement, Black Lives Matter movement. I was there on the day of the protest for equal pay for women. I followed the news for you know, the crimes in Palestine, and I support them. And I did crimes in Yemen and Venezuela, Spain, and the Blue Jacket movement in France, the Yellow Jacket movement in France. So, and now it's just like, and I give without expectation. It's just I'm doing my part, and now I call upon people, you know, to do their part as a citizen of the world. It's time to be more global now than national. It's time for globalism more than nationalism. It's with all the global warming and stuff. We have to be like, you know, we have to be more global.
Yeah,
we have to think bigger.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I said, just thank you for this. We will post some more information, and by all means follow the Ariana Association, and we will put a link. But good luck with the demonstration, and yeah, it's always unfortunate having to have a demonstration, but obviously we encourage people to come and go there and keep up with what's happening. And
thank you.
We will hopefully get you another time to talk to us.
Thanks.
And thank you so
look forward into it.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me this voice. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Bye from the other Reykjavík.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.